Here's a question with Aspinall. What happens with Aspinall in the second round? If you want to talk about a guy who sprints, you want to talk about a guy who's fast, one of the fastest heavyweights, he might be the fate in the history of the sport. I don't think anybody moves like that guy does. He beat everybody else's ass too. All the other heavyweights, ragdoll dudes way bigger than him. He's just a freak, and he is again the next the next advancement of Tom Aspinall. Fights Pavlich and takes that fight on 2 weeks' notice and becomes the interim champion and fucks his back up and can't train at all. But Aspinall, like that guy's, he's something special. He really is something special. He's a very unusual example because he's a heavyweight and he's a big guy, a really big guy, but he moves so fast. And his coach, Colin, I forget, it's from Cabal, this gym that he trains at in the UK, Colin Huron. He trained Darren Till. Colin, from the early days of the career, was like emphasizing his speed. And so his speed has always been like extraordinary compared to other heavyweights. Like he just fucking moves in. It's all like fast, explosive movements. So he's got natural speed, but then he's also got a lot of training to execute quickly. So when he moves in, he closes the gap. You can see like, fuck, he's fast for a big guy.
Joe Rogan and members of the MMA community have recently shared their thoughts on the upcoming heavyweight showdown between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, and their predictions have sparked major excitement among fans. Scheduled for October in Abu Dhabi, the fight has quickly become one of the most talked about matchups in recent UFC memory. A common sentiment emerging from Rogan and fans alike is that Tom Aspinall appears to be the future of the heavyweight division. His impressive speed, sharp boxing, fluid ground transitions, and calm presence inside the octagon have many comparing him to the most well-rounded heavyweight since the peak era of Cain Velasquez.
We finally got Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. Chill, we've been screaming about this Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane for a long time. UFC 321, Tom minus 325, Gane plus 260. We finally got the fight, but the world doesn't seem to believe, Chael, that it's a close fight. And I don't really agree with that line. I think this fight is much closer. Tom Aspinall minus 325, Ciryl Gane plus 265.
Tom Aspinall is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. What's the first step for him?
You give him the one contender, Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane is somebody that's a big heavyweight, that's very agile. I don't think Tom Aspinall gets rid of him right away like he has with other people. And I think that'll be a big indication if Jon Jones wants to come back and reclaim that bout once again.
I think you're absolutely right. Fight that makes sense. Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. Let's make that happen. Ciryl Gane is, people forget how fantastic he is. A guy that can kind of float around the octagon, touch you, kick you, hit you with elbow. He's just a complete game. But man, Tom's movement, his boxing, speed, and his power, it's very, very difficult to doubt this man anymore.
Dana was in here and he says you're never too far away from a title shot, right? Just because your name value, the fights you put on and stuff like that. Is that something you would like to start climbing towards? Or are you happy just fighting these young up-and-comers and getting a seemingly easy win?
Seemingly easy win? Man, he was the king of the taxicab drivers in Brazil, man.
Wow.
But no, I don't want an easy fighting like that. I want, of course, I would like to do one more run at the title. That'd be good.
I think he's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Highlight Aspinall's dominance over fighters like Marcin Tybura and Sergey Pavlovich, praising his seamless mix of striking and grappling. Though others argue that despite past criticism, Ciryl Gane's elite footwork, precise distance control, and fluid striking still make him a major threat in the heavyweight division.
Ciryl Gane is a fantastic striker. I mean, he's one of the most beautiful strikers in the heavyweight division. He does wild stuff. You ever see how he throws that front kick from a side stance? And he throws it like a twisting kick. He stands like southpaw, right? And you see he bobs around like this, and he's totally sideways, and he twists his foot out like a twisting kick. He did a lot of them against Tai Tuivasa. He's so fast, man. He just does this weird thing where he stands sideways, and instead of the front kick going like this, like straight out, the front kick goes like this. So
I know. Okay, I see what you're saying.
It.
Yeah.
So his knee when he lands is almost like sideways. He's just so unusual for a heavyweight, that kind of movement. But he'll show it totally sideways.
It's a little trick.
Almost like a crescent kick or something like that. Did you see the Derek Lewis-Ciryl Gane fight? Ciryl Gane beat the shit out of him. Ciryl Gane, who's 6'5", 247 pounds, moves like a 170-pounder. He's bouncing like Wonderboy. Completely changed the standard of heavyweight striking.
Can Ciryl Gane beat Tom Aspinall?
Ciryl Gane has a wrestling problem. Ankalaev uses a jab to blind Gane's vision, immediately changing levels and shooting a clean double leg, wrapping the knees to take him down. He rides Gane's back, sagging his weight and returning him to the mat every time he tries to stand, as Gane attempts to break the grip by pushing down on the hands and running laterally to create space. Ankalaev trips out the far leg, regaining dominant top position. When Gane tries to scramble up again, he's caught in a tight guillotine. Can Ciryl Gane beat Tom Aspinall?
Supporters of Gane believe Aspinall has never faced a striker with Gane's level of fight IQ, and if the bout stays on the feet, Ciryl could wear him down gradually. That's what makes this matchup so compelling. While it may seem like a classic striker versus grappler on paper, both fighters are actually well-rounded. Aspinall's striking is underrated with lightning-fast hands, while Gane's grappling defense and footwork often go underappreciated.
That's already a sick fight card. Obviously, with Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, Jailton Almeida and Volkov being the co-main event, if they are, just being on the fight card, they're going to be a backup fighter if anything happens to the main event. What's your thoughts on Volkov versus Gane? Sorry, Aspinall versus Gane.
I mean, I think it's the next best thing that we could get right now with Jon Jones not being able to do it and stepping away. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what Tom's plan is going to be, because I think on the feet, they're pretty evenly matched. I think it could be fun on the feet, but I think there's definitely a huge advantage for Aspinall when it comes to the wrestling and the grappling. And I think he'd be silly to not at least attempt to make it a bit of a grappling match and try to get the ground and pound, take him down. And we'll see. If he can defend takedowns, it could be a lot of fun. But if not, I think Tom can make some quick work. But there's a lot of pressure on Tom, man. We were talking about it on the pre-show this weekend that, you didn't get the Jones fight. You waited all this time, and now you've got to fight somebody else. And it's always tough because you want to win that one to really prove to everybody that, yeah, you are that guy. You are the great. You are the best. You're the reason Jon didn't want to take this fight, blah, blah, blah. If you go and lose that one, you just...
Yeah. Well, we haven't had guests on for a little bit because I've just been all over the place and very, very busy and all the rest of it. So I'll reach out to Tom and see if we can get him on next week, and we'll start getting some guests on again. Tom isn't the type of guy that...
Before Tom Aspinall fought Sergey Pavlovich, he said he gonna beat Jon Jones. He moved like Muhammad Ali. I said, Mike, this has to be a gimmick. He goes, Daniel, this fight is gonna last 2 minutes between him and Sergey. I said, bro, Sergey's knocked out 8 dudes in a row. Tom goes and knocks him out. Tom leaves to the back. Bisping's with him like he's part of the camp.
Just say you'll fight him. He refuses to say still that he'll fight Tom Aspinall, because he was walking through an airport and they were saying, so will you fight Tom Aspinall? And he's like, I'll fight whoever the champion is. Well, that's Tom Aspinall. I said, yeah, but the fight's not going to happen for a year. So we'll see who the champion is at that time.
It's almost an unfair comparison, right? When we talk about pressure versus pressure, everybody's under tremendous pressure. But I guess when you kind of look at it from not just pressure, but potential legacy and career and what's on the line, I think it's hard to not go with Tom Aspinall because the heavyweight division is on the line. If Gane goes in and beats him, no disrespect to Gane, love the guy, the heavyweight division loses a lot of respect. Even if Tom goes out there and it's a close fight, or he gets dropped and then has to come back or something, like, the heavyweight division has so little respect right now, probably deservedly so, I think. With Gane getting his 3rd title shot in a couple years, like, Tom has to show that he is the heavyweight division. He has to prove that to the world. Like, I am, the heavyweight division's not just shit, but like, I'm so good that the heavyweight division is shit, right? This is kind of his thing that he has to go out there and prove to the world. If he goes out there and loses to Gane, the division already is not respected. That brings Tom down significantly, I think, right? And of course, the potential Jon Jones fight, which is whatever, who knows, right? Like, how he beats Gane, assuming he does, may play a factor too. Like, if it turns out to be a close fight, again, John's going to be on his phone with Twitter open watching this fight, like, just waiting for Tom to fuck up and get dropped, get leg kicked and limping a little bit, or, you know what I mean? Jon can't wait.
The winner of this fight won't just walk away with a win. They'll take control of the narrative as the division's most dangerous heavyweight.
Tom Aspinall got matched up against Ciryl Gane. He had a plan to get his revenge, because although he pretended to pay his respect backstage, he later made a video exposing Ciryl ducking him.
Ciryl Gane was in attendance, won the fight. Matchmakers came to me and they said, do you want to fight Ciryl? I said, absolutely. A day later, I got the phone call, Ciryl Gane doesn't want to fight me.
Tom then went ahead and won another fight in the first round, but when he was in the front row of Cyryl's fight, Ciryl got asked about fighting him next, but turned it down in the octagon.
I know a lot of people talk about Aspinall, but this doesn't make sense for me.
Then, UFC came to London, and Tom was supposed to fight Ciryl, but he was busy filming his Netflix series that day, so he ended up fighting Curtis and won in the first round. And now, a year later, they've been matched up again.
This is the 4th time they've matched up together.
Who do you think is going to win this fight?
He's dismissed me on multiple occasions, and I'm not the first guy that he's dismissed. The reason that I got the Pavlovich fight was because Ciryl didn't want it. He then ducked Curtis Blades. I just don't like the way he does stuff professionally, because that's the opposite to what I do. I'm here to prove I'm the best, not duck out of fights with people.
It is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the pride of Wigan, the one and only Tommy Aspinall, Tommy Aspinall, na. Tommy Aspinall, Tommy, defending his undisputed gold, technically for the very first time, against the pride of France, the French prince himself, Bon Gamin himself, the one and only Ciryl Gane. These two have been going back and forth for the better part of 2, maybe 3 years. Well, this was the fight that we all thought was going to happen in Tom's official first title defense, and so it is in fact going to happen. Tom wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. That was the sense that we got when he became undisputed champion. He didn't want to wait for New York. Let's be honest, the tax is a little better over there in Abu Dhabi compared to New York for an Englishman, for anyone, if we're being 100% honest. And so he wanted to be active. He wanted to fight in October. He wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi. It's closer to home, and so they obliged. And you'll recall a few weeks ago I said, it's looking like Magomed and Alex, October 4th. It's looking like Tom versus Ciryl, October 25th. And it's looking like JDM versus Islam in New York. That would be the next pay-per-view. Now, that hasn't been officially announced. That hasn't been signed, sealed, and delivered. But at this point, I would be surprised, considering how the chips just fell earlier today. I would be surprised if it doesn't play out that way.
Do you think they're going to do Gane and Aspinall next? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I heard they're doing I don't know if I heard this from you or my homie Archie, but they're doing a card in France in August. So
that is happening. I think the card in
but
Paris,
that would be weird if I'm Tom. I'm like, yo, I'm not going to France to defend my belt. But maybe he does, because Tom seems like he just wants to fight. So I get that.
Yeah. Well, it's also shorter for Tom too, right? If he is fighting in Paris, right, as opposed to him fighting in the States. So maybe there's some incentive there. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I agree with you. He should be fighting in the UK.
I think Ciryl Gane will beat Aspinall.
Serious?
Yeah, I think he'll do it. I think Aspinall will go into the fight emotionally. He could be irritated by the fact that he's been a year out.
He doesn't see bro. He doesn't.
I think though he's gonna look at Gane and think, all right, Jones beat you in a round. I'm going to do worse to you. And I think he's not going to take Gane as seriously as you should have. And listen, but we don't know what Aspinall is like in that 3rd, that 4th, that 5th. If you can survive that 1st and 2nd. Aspinall's the favourite. But Gane is not a scrub on the feet. Gane's still technically kickboxing range. He's a better striker. Aspinall packs a punch. He's the heavier puncher. He's got the heavier hands. Boxing-wise, he's probably a better boxer as well.
Speed, bro.
But Gane is quick, bro.
Yeah.
Gane is not slow, and Gane's kicks and his range and his striking defense is still elite. But
when
you can't land clean on Gane. You can't land clean on Gane.
Also landed clean on Gane.
Okay, no. This fight isn't just about Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane. It's about the future of the heavyweight division. With Jon Jones sidelined and Francis Ngannou pursuing boxing, the title picture feels wide open. A win for Aspinall could establish him as the next dominant force, someone the UFC can build the division around. But if Gane comes out on top, he'll silence critics who've questioned his toughness and finally shake the label of avoiding challenges. And just as the spotlight narrows, another name is starting to enter the mix: Magomed Ankalaev.
Aspinall versus Gane is a massive transitional fight for the heavyweight division. What happens after it? I like the idea of Alex versus Tom right now. You want to know what another interesting fight is? Alex versus Ciryl. Alex is not going to beat Ankalaev, but we got Alex to light heavyweight in the first place by getting him beat. I believe Alex is in that spot right now. I'm bringing all of this to your attention because right now there's one thing for Jon Jones to do, and that is Tom Aspinall. Regardless of what happens between Ciryl and Tom, if Alex were to move up and beat them, you've now created an opportunity for Alex versus Jon, and that does work. Jon versus Tom is the fight, but Alex versus Jon is the next fight.
Imagine if Ciryl Gane beats Tom Aspinall. So it was announced that Tom's first title defense as the undisputed champion will be against former interim champ Ciryl Gane. And although me and many others are siding with Tom, we also can't forget that this is the heavyweight division and one shot could change it all. So imagine after everything that happened at heavyweight, Ciryl Gane captures the undisputed belt. But more importantly, how would that affect Jon Jones' legacy? Because you know that if Ciryl beats Tom, Jon will use MMA math to show everyone why he never had to fight Tom since he defeated Ciryl so easily. Even if Tom wins but has a tough time in doing it, Jon will still be at it. Personally, I don't think this changes the fact that Jon was ducking Tom as he saw him as a dangerous matchup.
Picture a future where Aspinall or Gane is defending the heavyweight title against Magomed Ankalaev, a fighter with elite wrestling, powerful striking, and a style capable of reshaping the division once again.
That he was winning, he got caught in a triangle from one of the best guard players in the sport, and now he's the UFC light heavyweight champion of the world against the most devastating champion we've seen in years. I mean, it's really an impressive performance by Ankalaev. He did everything he had to do. He pressured him on the feet. He showed that Pereira has a harder time fighting off the back foot, and he did what had to be done. You know, there was really only a couple moments where Pereira stunned him. There was a head kick. There was a couple other moments where he caught him with good shots, but mostly Ankalaev was controlling the distance, was putting the pressure on him, and we saw Poatan fight in what, you know, up till now is an uncharacteristic position. Yeah. Backing up and avoiding shots. Yeah, his UFC debut, he got caught by Paul Craig.
Stakes are massive. If Aspinall loses, does the hype around him fade, giving Jon Jones an easy out from ever facing him? If Gane falls short, does it confirm doubts that he's an elite striker but not well-rounded enough for the new wave of heavyweights? And if either man wins, the big question remains, who's next?
Good old day when the biggest star in the sport could go out there and underperform a little bit and the judges would give a screw job to the less popular guy. I could tell you plenty of times throughout history where Alex Pereira would still be wearing that belt, which is to beat the champion. You really got to beat the champion. Screwed the other guy to protect the champion. That's all that's ever meant. I'm not sure that the Alex Pereira that I saw isn't the greatest Alex Pereira I've ever seen. Alex is supposed to be somebody that you can go take down and beat up, particularly if you got a wrestling background, particularly if you got a wrestling background from Dagestan. That's the story. He never went down once. Is Ankalaev a man of his word? Does he get credit? Because his words were that I'm going to stand up and I'm going to kickbox with him. I'm going to beat him in the stand-up. That's exactly what he did. I, as a Pereira fan, what I want is Pereira at heavyweight. And if in a month from now we come out with a poster and it's Tom Aspinall versus Alex Pereira, I think you guys are pretty excited. That's my guess.
I think that Ankalaev just had him guessing a lot with, I think, Pereira's level on the ground. I don't know what level he's at, but I think he's still a bit wary of getting taken down. He definitely defended the takedowns well, but me with an educated eye watching it, I don't think Ankalaev was really trying to take him down that much. I think definitely tried a couple of times. I think he did 10 or 11 takedown attempts, but I would say only 2 or 3 of them he went full blast. I think the rest of the time he was trying to tire him out with the grappling, standing, like the cage grappling stuff. So I think Ankalaev had the perfect game plan. He didn't overcommit, tired him out. I can't believe people watched that fight and thought that Pereira won. It was just wild to me that how many uneducated fans are out there, and how many uneducated fans thought it was a boring fight as well. I thought it was an amazing fight. Both guys did good, and I think that Ankalaev was just a lot better than him.
Jon Jones possibly making a comeback and new contenders like Jailton Almeida or Magomed Ankalaev rising. The heavyweight scene is buzzing like never before. This is why the MMA world is so hyped for this fight. Joe Rogan sees Aspinall as a potential generational star, but also acknowledges Gane's world-class striking. Fans are divided, emotions are running high, and the future of the heavyweight division could be decided in just a few rounds. The matchup between Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane isn't just a fight. It's a battle for the very soul of the division.